Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another reaction and commentary, and welcome back to another video, reaction and commentary video, and this is to the third episode of MLP FiM, and I have no idea what the title of this episode is, and I do know that it is about Flurry Heart, and I also do know that, I believe Twilight is the one that is babysitting Flurry Heart, and the reason I know that, actually not because of spoilers, because of the internet, but actually because of TV. Because whenever I was recording the episode, I happened to glance and I saw like Twilight there, and it was like in a supermarket or something. So that's how I know that Twilight is the one taking care of Flurry Heart. So that's the only spoiler that I had. And believe it or not, the internet had nothing to do with that. So without further ado, let's begin with the episode. Okay, let me full screen. Okay, now this is MLP Season 7, Episode 3, starting the video in 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh.
Oh, Princess Twilight, every pony at the hospital is so excited for your
Nurse Redheart!
I'm never too busy to visit sick foals.
Oh my gosh, Nurse Redheart, we haven't seen you in a long time.
School picture day, too.
She's adorable.
Oh,
I mean,
the poor
Nurse-
dears really do
Nurse
need
Redheart.
cheering up.
We'll do our best. We'll bring snacks, I'll read to them, and get them gifts.
Food and presents always cheer me up.
It's great to see Nurse Redheart again.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
You know, it would have been hilarious if like after the door closed, if she had got inside of a souped-up ambulance, like one of the old like
It's
70
a lot.
Cadillac
If we
ambulances,
stick to the schedule,
Superiors,
I know we can get it all done.
have like
Yeah,
on
wood.
the hood scoop on it. That'd be hilarious.
Surprise!
Oh my gosh!
That was adorable.
I'm good.
Oh, they're so
I
cute.
was hoping my favorite aunt could watch me for a few hours.
I hope you're not too busy.
Actually, we kind of are.
Busy? Psh! Would the best aunt ever be too busy to spend time with this adorable little one? No.
That's cute. Okay, now, a few things to talk about while the intro's playing. Number one, I think it's adorable. First of all, I think it's great to see Nurse Redheart again. It was also really cute to see Twilight, like how her eyes just grew so big there upon seeing Flurry Heart, and then how she also she did that little hop. Like, she did not just walk; she just hopped, and it was adorable. It's also, honestly, the ruffled hair for Cadence is cute. That's also adorable.
Flurry, I've got a surprise for you. Just a couple of toys.
A flurry of
that remind me
emotions.
Flurry.
Okay.
I'm excited to show you I've done some shopping for Flurry Heart.
Oh, you're so sweet. You didn't have to do all that.
I know, but I can't help myself. Best aunt ever!
That's adorable. I'm also a little concerned for what's going to happen come Christmas.
Exactly, they're bears. You're one smart cookie.
It's going to be. I know. I already know this is going to be a heart attack inducing episode. I'm also curious.
We'll just put Flurry's things over here, Twily.
Totally.
Mashed peas, her favorite.
And diapers. Extra diapers. Oh, and backup extra diapers.
Mashed peas, her favorite. Wait, did I say that already? Uh-huh. Oops.
Oh, and this is the most important thing of all. Her whammy.
Okay.
I take it Flurry named it?
Yup. If she gets fussy, just give her the whammy and she'll calm right down.
You getting all this, Twilight?
Whammy, got it. Where are you guys headed anyway?
You remember my friend from the Royal Guard, Spearhead?
Nope.
Honestly, all of your friends' names are very similar.
A pop-up art show at the Ponyville Cafe, and we decided to go at the last minute.
We're not exactly art enthusiasts, but we could really use a night out.
You mean Day?
That's what I said. Isn't that what I said?
Mm-mm.
Either way, are you sure you can watch her?
That's ear noms. Ear noms are
Have no
official.
fear. The best aunt ever has everything under control.
And Twilight, and Spike knows crap is going to go
Thanks
down.
again, Twilight.
I think it's interesting that,
Grab wormy thing?
you know, it still shows Shining and Cadence. It doesn't show them, like, completely
Oh,
getting the
you wanna
whole
pretend
parent
we're
thing.
the
Like,
bears.
they're tired.
I suppose we have time for
I think it shows, I think it's great that they're going with that realistic nature.
Hey!
But you can't help but feel sorry for them.
I'm gonna get ya!
You should catch her soon, because we've got lots to do. Horsey Hive's covered falls counting on us, remember?
Got it! I'm
Up there.
catching up!
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
Sorry, Bug. Did that
So
scare
she
you?
turns into a Pokemon.
It's okay. It's just Auntie Twily.
Ugh.
You know, that was a very advanced spell for some pony your age. Looks like you're already taking after your Auntie Twily.
Not. Maybe not.
All right, that was pretty adorable.
Like.
Now,
I know, Spike, we're leaving.
Like,
I just have to feed her real quick.
I have to question. Twilight showed a lot of magical prowess whenever she was growing up. As did Sunset Shimmer, apparently, in the comics. And... Oh, okay. Oh, so it's actually going to show this dynamic. Okay, so it's actually going to alternate. That's cool.
Is this art or a mistake?
I have no idea. But who cares? We're not changing diapers.
Shining armor! Cadence! Are the new rents? Give me some hoof. Oh, it is so good.
That's that face, okay.
See you dudes. Hey, thanks for coming.
Of course, we're having a great time. Loving all the art.
That's a trash can.
What? Oh.
So it is. I knew that.
But hey, who's to say it's not art? Art can be anything that speaks to you. It changed my world. This is my latest piece. 1,000 nights in a hallway.
Wow, I guess nighttime in a hallway can be pretty dark.
There is none more dark.
Yeah, totally.
We're just so happy to be here. Usually we're covered in mashed peas by now.
you said mashed peas were her favorite. Do they mean her favorite thing to decorate a room with?
Oh my gosh!
Aw, come on, Spike. That wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and we're only 20 minutes behind schedule.
20 minutes? It's fine. We can totally do this.
Oh boy. Okay, this is a very interesting... Oh, okay.
We just need to grab some toys and we are out of here.
Didn't you already have quite a bit of toys before?
You want to play, don't you? Well, I know a game that's even more fun and more efficient. Playing race cards.
Oh boy.
Hey, nice thinking, Twilight.
Best aunt ever! on,
So
Flurry.
what is this,
The racetrack's taking a pit stop.
Toys is Us? Oh boy. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hey, Lauren Bonbon. Hanging out
I'm
again.
not a detective, but I think we got a suspect.
Well, we better get to cleaning. We've got no time
I
to
just
waste.
now noticed the giant pear sprite.
Thanks, but they were organized by color.
That pony snort.
Yes, we gained back a whole 5 minutes from running here.
Yeah, but if you add that to the 40 minutes we were already behind, we're still
35 minutes behind.
55 minutes
Oh, whoops, sorry.
behind.
My bad.
I mean, yay team.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for helping us out, Cheerily. Sorry we were late.
Oh, no problem. But I gotta say, I'm surprised you came to me for a book. Don't you have a huge collection?
Yes, but... Sorry, 1 second.
That'll work.
I didn't think the foals would be interested in the unabridged history of amulets in Pony Latin.
Yeah, it was good you came to me. How about the complete collection of Ponyville, Fables, and Stables?
Too long.
Alien alicorns versus space pirates?
Well, the science there is preposterous.
How about Brunferno, warrior from within? It's about a handsome dragon warrior who slays evildoers with his breath and his snappy comebacks.
Let's borrow that for you and keep looking. What else?
Uh-oh. Oh no.
How about Gusty the Great?
Ooh, that was one of my favorites when I was a filly. We'll take it. Should I go with something more current? Shirley, I am so sorry. I didn't even hear her leave. There, all clean.
Great. Now I'll just write it up again with my mouth.
Feast your eyes. This one's called A Kitchen Guard's Journey.
Oh.
This reminds me of the time Flurry got into the chocolate pudding, and we found little chocolate hoof prints all over the carpet.
That took forever to clean up. But remember how cute her little face looked when we caught her?
Yeah, she was like, uh-oh.
Whoa, art is so evocative. I wasn't even going for that memory. Score!
Honestly, Twilight, I don't even want to tell you how late we are. Should I just cancel our visit to the hospital?
What? Cancel? We can't cancel, Spike. The sick foals are counting on us. And the BAE would never throw in the towel like that.
BAE?
Best aunt ever?
Oh.
Besides, this errand is going to be different.
Well, how do you figure that?
Don't jinx it.
Because Flurry can play with the Cake Twins and stay out of trouble.
Hey! So we're gonna see Pounded Pumpkin Cake again. Uh-oh. Hey, Pinkie.
Wonderful. They're friends already.
Huh. I shouldn't have doubted you.
Thanks. Wait, you doubted me? Spike, you watch Flurry. I'll take care of everything else.
I sense something
Hi,
bad.
Pinkie, how's it going? I need to pick up the cupcakes for the foals at the hospital, and can you do apology treats?
I'm good. Here they are. Of course I can.
Do you still have a giant file of every pony's favorite treat?
In my secret party planning cave. BRB.
Never mind.
Remind me to tell you later how amazing you are. Cheerily?
I am pretty awesome. Cherry oatmeal cookies with yellow sprinkles.
Great. Can you write sorry on them?
I've got a stamp for that.
Emojis are confirmed.
guys. No need to fight. Hang on, I'm sure there's another one. No, not this one. That's cute.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hold on, sweetie. We'll play in a second.
Uh-oh.
The sales
Oh, boy.
at the toy store.
Oh boy.
Apple strudel cupcake with caramel drizzle.
The cupcakes! Oh no. Oh no.
You're making the same face Cheerilee made. Pinkie, remind me what your favorite treat is? The sampler platter. We'll take 3 of those.
Aha! Told you I'd find another one.
Oh man.
Twilight? Out of the question. We are not canceling. It's gonna be okay. It has to be.
I think he's gonna probably warn you that there's a bump in the road.
We end up,
Sorry.
I already know how that's going to be
I was
edited
just gonna
later.
say, we're here.
Hey, the hospital!
4.5 minutes late.
4.5. And while no pony had ever tried to reach Cloudsdale on hoof, Gusty the Great was not deterred. She and her unicorn warriors marched up the hill. But suddenly they encountered...
What? What was it?
It was the treacherous Grogar, and Gusty could tell he was ready for battle. Gusty called out to the unicorn warriors. Ow! Not right now, Flurry. These fools really want to hear this.
Uh-oh.
We can fight Grogar
Oh, boy.
together. And the unicorn warriors
Oh, no.
shot magical beams into the clouds that wove into one. The beams, stronger than 1,000 armies, shine down.
She can teleport.
It wrapped around Grogar and pulled him to the ground. Don't let him escape, yelled Gusty.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Say
Grogar was strong, for fear gave him
We have a
power,
situation.
and he broke through
We have a situation! We have a situation!
I know, so good, right?
Twilight, look up!
Spike, you're floating. Flurry, honey, you need to stop this. Put us down, please.
Twilight, look out!
Uh-oh. Oh, nuts.
No pony panic. Everything's gonna be okay.
She's adorable. My gosh.
I can't keep up with her.
Oh yeah, where's her snoozle?
Her what?
You know, her wacky, wompy thing, the snail? Where is it? They didn't say it calms her down.
I don't see it.
Cute. There's red heart. Oh boy.
Flurry Heart, put us all down this instant.
Ah! Magic!
Is every pony okay? Flurry, that was very, very bad. You could have hurt some ponies. Flurry, I didn't mean to. Sweetie, you don't have to be scared. It's just me, see? You're scared of me because I yelled at you like a big scary bear. Flurry, I'm so sorry. I've been a terrible aunt today. All you wanted to do was play, and I've barely been able to pay attention to you. None of this is your fault. It's mine. So much for being the best aunt ever. But I hope you know how much I love you.
Oh.
I take it you forgive me? Thanks, Flurry. How about we head home? After we find your whammy, of course.
Oh.
And clean up.
Cute face.
This one kind of reminds me of Flurry's hair.
Oh boy.
And this one reminds me of Flurry too.
How so?
It's small, like her. I can't do this anymore. Spearhead, this has been great, but...
Say no more. My art has always spoken to me about what I love, but knowing that it spoke to you about what you love speaks to me.
His scarf, man.
What?
Go to her.
That face.
Flurry, where's our little foal? Oh, we missed you so much.
But it looks like you had a great time without us.
Actually, not so much. Flurry got into some mischief. But it wasn't her fault. I shouldn't have agreed to watch her with such a jam-packed schedule. It was too much to juggle. But Flurry taught me an important lesson today. It turns out being the best aunt ever isn't about spending the most time with your niece, but spending quality time with her. And she taught me a really cool bear game, so I guess I learned 2 things.
Well, we definitely should have given you more of a heads up.
Yes, from now on we'll give you plenty of notice.
Oh, that would be great.
Hey, what are you doing next Tuesday? For dinner, not to babysit.
I'll have to check with Spike, but I think we're free.
Where is Spike anyway?
The
Oh.
dashing dragon warrior breathed a scorching flame from his snout, then chuckled to himself as he
That's
flew
right.
into the sunset. If you can't stand the heat, don't fight a dragon.
Hey, you kind of look like him.
Thank you. Okay, now who wants more cake?
Okay. Okay, I can see why. Someone told me that this episode pretty much was pretty heavy on the cuteness scale, and that it probably, and I can see why. This was indeed a very cute episode. And, excuse me. And there are a few different things to actually talk about regarding what is going on. It was interesting. First of all, this is the first time that we've actually got to see Twilight actually interact with her niece. And it was really cool. It was really, really cool to be able to see Twilight in a completely different role. I mean, we've never seen her in that role before. She's always been the best friend. She's always been the little sister. More so the best friend. But, excuse me. And now we've also got to see her as a mentor, as a teacher. This is the first time that we've actually got to see her be an aunt. And I think it was really interesting to be able to see that for the first time. I think it was really cool to be able to see that, and I really think that it played out really well. And I'm also really glad that they didn't have Twilight like do everything perfectly. That, you know, she was completely flawed with it. It was something that she was not prepared for, something that she was not used to. And it's a lot more relatable to actually have to actually do that. And I'm really glad that they didn't have the character, that they didn't have her be able to get everything, you know, just like that, and that she was able to show that flaw, and she showed a natural realism to that. I mean, it was completely natural. I mean, she showed stress, she showed joy, she showed stress, she showed frustration, she showed I can't talk right now, sadness, And again, it's very much relatable. I mean, because dealing with a young child like that, depending on the child, I'm not a parent, so I cannot verify that, and I don't have any younger siblings, or I don't have any younger children around me that I actually have to deal with. But I really have to say Twilight, I mean, the way that Twilight was portrayed, the way that her character was written for this, it was relatable. It was very much relatable, and like I said, I'm really glad that they did not have her be completely perfect with it, be like the idealistic, the perfect aunt, and nothing go wrong, everything go perfect. It would not have been realistic, and I'm really glad that they actually had it play out that way. And Twilight already had a lot of things on her plate that she had planned for the day, and then suddenly, suddenly she's expected to babysit. And this doesn't just go for babysitting. A lot of people can relate to the concept of having a lot of things planned, and then something comes out of nowhere, blindsides you, and it really puts a damper in your plans. I mean, I know that firsthand how that is. And Twilight was asked about babysitting, and she was excited about it, and she was looking forward to the time with Flurry Heart. But in the process, she ended up forgetting about her own schedule, and so she tried to make up time and ended up neglecting Flurry Heart to try to fit time into her schedule there, to try to actually work it out. And in the process, it ended up overall, it ended up causing different things to happen. It ended up causing a few bad things to happen, and in the end, ended up kind of risking a few people's lives in the process. A few ponies' lives in the process. And Twilight was able to learn something from Flurry Heart, that even though she spent time with her throughout the day, it's not the same thing as being able to, as actually spending quality time with her. And there is a very big difference. And Twilight was able to learn that. And I think it's really cool that it shows her still learning things, life lessons, and things that would be learned or taught in that situation. And again, I think it's really cool that Twilight was able to learn that, and that she was put in that situation to where she had to learn that. And it's something that she and again, it's very much relatable. It's very much realistic. And I know some people would probably say that Twilight was a bit selfish in how that she was trying to kind of neglect Flurry Heart to try to do the schedule that she had planned. But you also have to look at it from a realistic perspective. These were things that Twilight had already been asked about, things that she had already been planning on, and then suddenly the concept of babysitting was suddenly thrust upon her, and she didn't want to have to cancel. She thought that she could do it all, and so it was a flaw on her part. She went ahead. She tried to take on more than what she could actually chew. And as a result, it caused some. It ended up causing everything that transpired to actually go down. And so again, I do not hold me personally. I don't hold Twilight at fault here. Nor do I blame her. It was kind of like, it was a bit, if it's Twilight's fault, then it's easily just as much Shining and Cadence's fault, because they didn't give Twilight a heads up. They just suddenly asked her. And so, again, this was an episode that showed building, to me personally, for all of those characters. It showed, for Twilight, she was able to be put in a scenario and in a situation where she had never been put in before. There might, she was for the first time, actually, that we got to see, able to actually babysit, got to spend quality time with her little baby niece. And she already had a swap schedule, so she tried to work in everything together. And she found out it was much too complicated, more complicated. I think my foot just twitched. It was a lot more complicated than what she actually perceived it to be. And it resulted in the things that happened to happen. And Twilight, like I said, Twilight was able to be put into a situation that she had never been put into before. And she took on much more than she could chew, much more than she could handle, and she was trying to do everything and ended up unintentionally neglecting Flurry Heart, and she truly felt bad for it, and she ended up yelling at her later because Flurry Heart, I mean, she's still learning that Flurry Heart has a lot of magical ability. And she's still learning about her niece. I mean, it's not something that you automatically know. It's something that you have to grow. Both have to develop. And Flurry Heart is growing. And Twilight has to learn. I mean, and so, you know, she will. I mean, right now she doesn't know very much, but she knows a little. And as she gets older, she too will be able to understand more about what she can and cannot do. And for Twilight, she is at that teaching and learning process. She's learning about her own niece. She's learning about her own niece, but at the same time, she's teaching her. Like, she's trying to teach her. And so, again, this was a really interesting family-based episode. And it's the first time that we've ever seen something like this done before. And we've seen, you know, the episodes. Obviously, we've seen the family-based episodes with Applejack and we've seen the episodes with Applejack and Apple Bloom and Rarity and Sweetie Belle and even Rainbow Dash and Applejack, Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo. But this is the first time we've ever seen something. And we did see Pinkie babysit Pound and Pumpkin Cake, but the thing was, Pinkie actually wasn't related to Pound and Pumpkin Cake. Like, that's not even family. This is the first time we've ever actually seen Twilight in that role of aunt, babysitting her little niece. And Twilight is not this older mare with years of experience under her belt or under her horn. She is still young. She's still young, and she's still learning. I mean, she's still learning not just she's still learning, pardon me, about friendship. She's still learning about the world around her. And now here she is, having to learn how to be an aunt as well. And so it's very interesting that she had to be put in that situation. And that moment whenever she, and again, that moment whenever she yelled at Flurry Heart, and she realized that, I mean, and she scared Flurry Heart. Again, it was a relatable and realistic scenario where Flurry Heart, I mean, she's just a wee child, and she's not used to the world as it is. She's not used to so much stuff, and it was the first time that Twilight had actually yelled at her, and so, you know, she ended up getting scared. But in time, she'll understand that she'll understand that anger is a part of every single pony's emotions. And Twilight also learned that, like I said, she learned that she felt bad because she got upset at her. But she, of course, even though she got upset, she still loved Flurry Heart. And that's the thing about friends and family, you know, is that, okay, for some, I won't say for all, but for some, you can get upset, but you still love each other. And I think that was really portrayed incredibly well here. And it was really adorable whenever Flurry Heart forgave her, and then there was that little recounseling. And this episode, again, And I just noticed Octavia was there. Crap, but why didn't I notice that the first time? I did not notice that. I just now noticed that Octavia was in this. How did I not notice that? But she was there. I did not notice that. I was going over it, and Octavia's there. She's there. Okay. But again, I really loved how that Twilight was portrayed in this, and how she got to have a very unique role, a role that we've never seen her in before. And I think it'll be, and I think it was an interesting setup, and I really think it's going to be interesting if we ever get to see the actual portrayal again. And like I said, I really enjoyed this episode because of that. It was really cute, it was sweet, and it was interesting to be able to see that dynamic between Flurry Heart and Twilight, and to be able to see them in a role that they've actually never been in before. And besides Twilight and Flurry Heart, there was also Cadance and Shining. This is the first time that we've actually got an episode that actually additionally focuses on those two characters in that manner. Most of the time, whenever the characters were there, they were not the characters of focus, or even secondary characters of focus. Or, okay, correction. They were secondary characters of focus, but there were other people that were supposed to have been there. Of course, you could say, well, Shining and Cadance was kind of supposed to be the main characters of focus at the end of Season 2, but no, it was still Twilight. It was still Twilight that was the main character of focus there. And this is the first time we've actually got to see Twilight and Shining in that role of just being parents, and we got to see them walking around. We didn't see anyone like running up to them, mobbing them, hanging around like, oh my gosh, it's the princess. No, they were just like every other pony there, just enjoying an art show. And I think it was cute to be able to see that dynamic between them there. And I'm really hoping that we get to see more of these two in the future. Because, quite frankly, and I really don't mean this in a bad way, but everything just seems kind of rushed. At the end of Season 2, the characters got to get married. We got to see that. But then we didn't really get to see very much more with the characters very much more until, the beginning of Season 3 with the Crystal Empire. And then we didn't really get to see much more again until, we didn't get to see very much more again. And then the next major focus was whenever Flurry Heart. There was probably another instance, but I can't recall it right off the bat. But I do know the next focus was Flurry Heart. And so, yeah, you could say, so basically everything that happened in the show's timeline is supposed to have taken place within a year's time. So how long could it have been after they got married before Cadance was suddenly pregnant and then gave birth? Now, I'm not really sure if they're going by the typical human logic of a baby, taking 9 months. So I'm not really sure if they're going by that logic or if they're kind of changing it around. But just, let's just go by human logic temporarily here. You could say that they got busy not long after they got married, obviously. Sorry, I had to look that up. It's kind of quoting syndrome from the Incredibles.
And got busy!
But again, it was interesting to be able to see that, and again, I really like how. First off, I really liked how that they actually had Shining and Cadance here as a young couple that, brand new parents, still adjusting to married life as well. And there's new roles. Obviously there's new things that they have to deal with. Shining is still the captain of the Royal Guard. Cadance is the Princess of Love, and so they still got their own things that they have to deal with, and so it was interesting to be able to actually see. It was really interesting to be able to see a little bit of the lifestyle outside of their royal duties here, just like attending this guy's art exhibit. And it was interesting to actually be able to see that, and to be able to see those interactions with the characters and everything. It was really cute and really fun. And I'm really hoping that we get to see more of this in the future. Because I really think there's a lot more that that could be taken advantage of with these two particular characters. And it was also interesting, again, that it still shows them to be, like, in the beginning, it shows them to be tired, they're exhausted, and they just want kind of some time to themselves, because obviously they have a newborn baby, and they don't really have very much time. And so they just wanted a day to themselves. And so it was interesting. Again, I'm glad that they didn't portray them to be like perfect parents that already has everything down. No, they're flawed too. It's something that they're having to adjust to, something that they're not really used to, and so they're trying to adjust, and they're just doing the best. They're just doing the best that they can. Same thing with Twilight being an aunt, and so again. Personally, again, I really hope that we get to see more with these characters in the future. Maybe seeing another episode that focuses on Shining and Cadence. And it was interesting again to be able to see that interesting thing where here's this guy that Shining knows. Cadence doesn't really know him too much, but like Shining is used to his mannerisms and everything, and Cadence is just like kind of agreeing, but she kind of just feels, I think, a bit out of place, like it's kind of guy time with this guy and with Shining, but she just kind of let them do their own thing there, and it was interesting to see that, and it was also interesting to be able to see them as Shining and Cadence were seeing the different pieces of artwork. It was reminding them of Flurry Heart, and and I think it's really cool that they weren't portrayed, as not even thinking about their child or having a sense of dread of going back into that role. I think it's really cool that they're actually loving being parents, and that they actually that they love the little things that Flurry Heart does, and they love being her parents, and that they love being with her. And so I really think that's a really cool, really sweet thing, and it was really cool that they finally decided, you know what, they had enough time away from their child, so they went back together, and I think that was also cute. It kind of makes me think like what's going to happen whenever Flurry Heart gets older and they have to send her off to school, how they're actually going to react. But again, there was a lot of other things in this episode here that was also interesting. There were also a lot of cute faces that Twilight made in this episode. A lot of really adorable faces. There were also some cute faces with Shining and with Cadence as well. And it was interesting also, I just now remembered that we didn't get to see that whole Sunshine Ladybugs Awake dance with Cadence and Twilight here. We didn't get to see that, but I think it'd be interesting to be able to see more of that in the future. And I also think it's cute, like, we see that typical family bond, we see the brother and sister bond with Shining and Cadence. We also see that, like, a sisterly bond, or we also see that sisterly bond with Cadence and Twilight as well. And so again, I think that's really cute. This was indeed a really cute, really cute episode. And again, it didn't really have a whole lot in terms of action, but it had a really good story. It had really good flow, good pacing, and again, I'm glad that the episode split and actually showed a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more with Shining and Cadence as well, because like I said, they're characters too, and I think it's cool that we're finally getting little glimpses into their life outside of the things that we know, like just the special times or occasional times that we get to see them. I think it's interesting that we finally get to see them participating in other things outside of their, the hectic routine daily life that they have, the roles, the jobs, the things that they have to do. I think it's interesting that we're actually just seeing them just hanging out, taking time, being together, hanging out together, and I think that's cute. Additionally, this episode did have some interesting things. We also got to see we also got to see Nurse Redheart come back, which is also really cool. And again, I do think the ruffled hair with Cadence is cute for her. And then the interactions between Twilight and Flurry Heart was just downright freaking adorable. And again, we got some really adorable faces with her, and we also got to see some interesting things. One thing that I was going to mention earlier in terms of the magic is originally, very early on, we thought that Twilight was the only actual character that actually had a lot of magical prowess, that had a high level of magic ability. But it was revealed that Starlight that Sunset Shimmer also had some. But I'm not really. I guess that can't really be considered canon in the Pony universe. It is in the comics to a degree, and it is in the films, but we can't really include that here because it's not actually been shown in the show itself. But then there was Starlight Glimmer, and she's shown to have an incredible amount of magical prowess, to that she even rivaled Twilight. And so, and then we also now we also have Flurry Heart. And so I'm just curious, like, so many characters right now are showing this incredible magical power. And what's going to happen later? Like, how is this going to take effect? Like, what is this building up to? Is it building up to anything? Now, with every single character, we can analyze it. And I've wondered before if maybe a big climax would be having Twilight have to battle would have to be using a lot of her power to battle something. And that, whenever I kind of began to think about that less and less, and then Starlight Glimmer. And then I'm also wondering now, will there be a moment where she has to use an incredible amount of power? And I'm also wondering now with with Flurry Heart, might there be something that will happen later on? There could be a 2-part episode, kind of a darker episode, but a 2-part episode where somebody maybe finds out about Flurry Heart's ability and believes that she could be the key to something. And so they somehow manage to kidnap Flurry Heart. And so then you have Shining and Cadence trying to find her, as well as Starlight Glimmer and Twilight. And that definitely would be something interesting. But again, that's just off the wall thinking. We also got to see a moment where Flurry Heart seems to turn into a Pokemon. She seems to have her own Pokeball with her wings, which I think is interesting. Like it's a kind of a cute thing where she kind of uses her wings as a sort of defense mechanism, or as a sort of means of hiding herself. I think that's interesting. We've never seen any of the other Pegasi do that before, so that's interesting. And again, we also saw her with this bubble. Like, is this some sort? I mean, and at first I thought this was some sort of defense bubble, but obviously she can hear through it, and Twilight was able to push her face through it. But she had to push her face through it. It wasn't just like easy to go through just like that. So it is some sort of defense mechanism. So again, we'll just have to wait and see how that's going to develop later on. Obviously, she still has a lot of magical abilities. And something else to also make a mention about here, with the art exhibit that Shining and Cadence were actually at. It's interesting, and to see this because I've seen different pieces of art myself. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I am an art lover like that, but I do have appreciation for art. I do. And while Shining and Cadence here, I think it was hilarious that they themselves can look at the art, and they really like that. all those shields and spears together, like welded or like melded together. Um, they didn't see the actual appeal to that. But for me, I can still see art, and it's one of those scenarios where, for me, I know that it's kind of that old saying: one person's junk is another person's treasure. While one person can look at it and say, I don't see any appeal in this whatsoever, someone else can say, I like it. And it's different tastes different interests for different people. And in a sense, it's kind of like with MLP. Other people outside of the Brony community would look at it and say, I don't get the appeal. I really don't understand it. Whereas for us, we like it. And it's hard for someone who does like something like that to try to interpret and explain why they like it to someone. But the easiest way, I think, to do it is a comparison. Like, person A will like something that person B does not, but then person B will like something that person A does not. Both like something, but even if neither actually understands it. And so, me, myself, I can see art in this. And again, I'm not bashing Cadence and Shiny here. I am not. I actually think it's comical and actually fitting that Cadence didn't understand it. One could probably imagine, like a regal princess would be able to understand the artwork. I think it's interesting that they showed that she did not know what it was, and she completely related, or she was 100% with Shining on that. And so again, I like that. I like that. And then that moment where he shows that black painting, again, it's comical, but again, I can still see artwork myself. I honestly, no joke, I can still see artwork there. And again, different pieces of art, I know this myself, different pieces of art speaks to different people. And whereas one person can get one sort of interpretation from it, another person can see something completely different. And it won't always speak to it, and it'll speak to different people in different ways. And so again, that's an interesting thing here. And we also got to see, I just now noticed that Berry Punch and this other little filly, which is adorable. Pardon me, which is adorable. That's adorable. So we see Berry Punch. Pardon me. And I actually did not know that. I was watching a video over on that Watch Pony did, talking about the top 10 best mothers in MLP, and Berry Punch was actually on that list, and I did not know that there was artwork of her and another little filly with her. I did not know that. I feel bad that I didn't know it, but I didn't. And so again, this probably just helped to solidify that. So again, that was cute to actually see. And we got to see other, I'm just now looking at some of the toys that's on the shelf here. Obviously, we see the giant Parasprites, we see boats, we see, I don't know, Flappy Bird, and we see these other characters over here. Is that Gandalf? Is that Gandalf? Or is that supposed to be a plush of Star Swirl the Bearded? I don't know. I think it's comical to think it's Gandalf. We see these reindeer of some sort. That looks like reindeer. And so that's interesting to see. And yep, it looks like reindeer. And then we get to see this comical bit where we get to see this interesting moment where Twilight actually is able to quickly push a cart quickly through the toy store. Now, I'll be completely honest. If you've ever pushed a shopping cart in a store and you have the type of imagination I do, you, like me, you wish that you could actually have the opportunity to play bumper cars with shopping carts in a store, like kind of, you know, run or chase each other with the shopping carts, and then like bang the shopping carts together, play demolition derby with them. Maybe that's just me, but I know some other people have had that thought before, and so seeing Twilight do that brought back the memories that I had of one time in a store. There was a cousin and I. We each had 2 empty shopping carts, and we kind of did that. Like we kind of walking alongside each other and just kind of you know, banging them together. We stopped whenever we saw. This was back years and years ago. We stopped whenever we saw one of the employees giving us this really evil look, so we just stopped at that point. But again, it was one of those comical moments, and it brought that memory back. And again, if there was a closed store around that still had the shopping carts, and I was still allowed to do that, it would still be fun. You cannot tell me that would not be fun. And we also got to see for the first time exactly like a toy store to this degree with them there, and Carrot Cake is there. And we also got to see Lyra and Bon Bon hanging out together. Again, cute. And then that moment whenever that cashier tells Twilight that the toys were stacked by order or by color, and Twilight gives this adorable like horse snort or pony snort. Adorable. And then it was also interesting with Cheerily naming off the different books there. And I was just kind of waiting for a reference to, I don't know, the Elements of Harmony book, like the actual book that started with the first episode, waiting for something like that, or even like a reference to My Little Pony itself, or maybe even a reference to Fallout Equestria. And honestly, whenever Flurry was actually using the chalk on the chalkboard, I honestly wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure if she was going to make a bunch of drawings, or if she was somehow going to magically create some sort of formula that would be something that nobody or no pony had seen in generations. And like it was this incredible formula, unknown. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen, but I'm actually glad they did not go that way. But there was that one moment whenever Cheerily makes a mention about having to rewrite all of that again with her mouth. And she kind of made it sound like there was a choice. Like, she could have just used her hoof. So, yeah, not really sure on that one. But it was also interesting to be able to see Pinkie there. And again, we got to see the natural element of Pinkie with her having a file on every single pony in Ponyville. And I was just waiting for some sort of reference to cupcakes there to pop up. And again, Pinkie's logic, trapdoor in the floor. She just disappears, comes back up with a huge big A file. With a huge big A file on every single pony, and she's able to pull out a file for Cheerily and the other ponies. And again, yeah, you know what? If this doesn't help aid in the concept of cupcakes, the cupcakes fanfic, I don't freaking know what does, man. I really don't. And then at moment when Pinkie says that she has this thing for that, and then stamps a sad face on Twilight's forehead. That's comical. Again, emojis are now a thing in MLP. Emojis are now a thing. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it certainly is cute, and it certainly is comical. So I'm going to roll with that. And it was also interesting, we also got to see Flurry Heart playing with Pound and Pumpkin Cake for the first time. And it's also interesting that we haven't really seen very much age progression with the characters since... Was it Season 3? Was it Season 3? Or Season 2? But we haven't really got to see very much progression with them. And obviously, I know, you know, technically speaking, just maybe a year has passed. So yeah, they might have grown maybe 1 year older. So yeah, I just kind of contradicted my own self. So forget what I said. But it was interesting to be able to see them chasing after Flurry Heart, working together and trying to, because she was just trying to help. She was just trying to help and stop the arguing by splitting the toy into two so they could enjoy it together. But then she became the enemy, and so yeah, you have to feel sorry for her there. But then again, they're also kids, so you know they didn't know that Pound and Pumpkin Cake didn't know that she was trying to help. So yeah, but again, that moment whenever Pinkie is just looking like, I love this stoic expression, this calm stoic expression on her face, just how mellow that she is. And then that moment whenever she sees what's going on and her eyeballs literally bug out of her head to the point, I mean, no freaking joke, her eyeballs bulge out of her freaking skull, that you can actually see the black inside of the holes, and like she just panics and ends up tearing the piece of paper. It's comical that happened. Like, it's freaking hilarious with Pinkie. And then Pinkie makes a mention that what she likes is kind of just simply kind of something calmly or simply on the regular menu. And again, it was interesting to see that. Very cute. And it was interesting to be able to see Pinkie in her natural Pinkie element. And again, the moment where Spike sprays the milk on Twilight's face. I've browsed artwork enough. I already know how that's going to be rendered. I already know. Again, these fillies and colts here are really interesting to see. And again, it was really cute to see Twilight reading a story. And again, I really love their designs for these little fillies and colts here. They're very, very cute. And I'm assuming they had like chickenpox. That's what it looks like. But again, I love some of the designs for some of these little characters here. And I also adore how that Twilight already had a nickname, like she was already calling Flurry Heart. She didn't call her Flurry Heart all the time. She called her honey. She called her sweetie. That was cute. Like that was really adorable. And then it was really cute that Twilight, whenever everything was going on, how Twilight first thought that they were like cheering in a sense or making a commotion because of the book, and she was like, yeah, and she was just like, yeah, she was just like, I know, it's great, right? And that was really cute. Like, she was so invested in that book, she didn't even notice the impending chaos around her. And again, this was really cute. And we also got to see again whenever Nurse Redheart is trying to get this guy to open his mouth so she can put that right there in, and then he's like then suddenly Flurry Heart appears. And again, it brings up to mind something, and I have to say this. I have to say this. Flurry Heart, a cute smile, is like, Flurry Heart. Nurse Redheart is telling this guy, open wide. And then she gets a emery board, or no, she gets that like emery board out of, and she puts it in her mouth, and she's going to use it to hold down his tongue. Okay, I know that they're ponies and that they typically use their mouth, but isn't like she getting awful close to this guy's mouth with her own? Is he really a patient? Or did we stumble across something else going on in this scene right here? Again, like art, this could be interpreted any way. And in my mind, right now, I'm not imagining this guy is a typical patient. No, 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 no. I'm imagining, because that little sly smile that Nurse Redheart has right before Flurry Heart appears, I'm imagining that this may actually be her boyfriend. Yeah, he might have been feeling kind of funny, and so he come in for a checkup. I know she's gonna give him a checkup, all right. But again, that's kind of what's going through my mind. Like, in my mind, it's just kind of cute and comical to imagine that with her, like, having that right there and that smile, this is not a typical scene going on. Like, that's not playing out in my head. No, 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 no. No, my mind is a lot more effed up than that. In my mind, again, I imagine this guy is like her boyfriend or her husband, and he just kind of came in maybe for a checkup, and Flurry Heart just kind of interrupted the mood that was going on at that point. So, yeah, that was kind of just went through my head. Pardon me. Again, everybody's totally free to interpret it however that they want. Totally, like, doesn't bother, that like doesn't matter to me. But again, that's how it goes in my mind, man. That's how it goes in my mind. And again, I love the designs for these little fillies and colts here. Really cute design. And we also got to see the hospital again. We also got to see this interesting moment with Nurse Redheart. We get to see this cute moment with her come back as well. We get to see some cute Nurse Redheart. We get to see some Nurse Redheart cuteness here, which was adorable to see. And I love that we got to see more of Nurse Redheart in this episode. We also got to hear her talk more, and we also got to see more of her. We also got to see more of her here. And again, I think it would have been comical if, like, technically speaking, what with her. And I just noticed this little moment whenever she bites her lower lip, right before she's picked up by the magic, she bites her lower lip. That's what it looked like here. That was cute. But again, I think it'd been hilarious if, like, whenever she had have left, I think it'd been hilarious. I know that won't happen, but it'd be hilarious if someone made a comic or like a piece of artwork or something of Nurse Redheart, like after she leaves Twilight's, like she's actually brought a car, and it's like one of the Cadillac Superior ambulances. Like, the one that I imagine in my head is that 1970 Cadillac Superior 51 ambulance. The 1970, the red and white, and I imagine in my mind that it has larger wheels on the back. The exhaust, it's got dual exhaust, and the dual exhaust is coming out the back. It's coming out on, it has like the side pipes, the side exhaust, and it's coming out in front of the rear wheel wells, and it has a cutout placed on the hood with this, or one of those blowers sticking out over the top of it, and that I think it would be a very interesting thing. And another little interesting thing that we actually got to see with Nurse Redheart as well. And again, another thing that I want to mention is the animation here. The animation whenever Twilight is getting angry with Flurry Heart, and that moment whenever she walks up to her. Again, I really love that animation there. I really love the animation. How Twilight starts off a little bit smaller, and she just kind of gets a little bit larger as she walks closer. You see the blurriness in the background I mean, it's realistic to a camera where the camera is focusing on the foreground characters and the background is actually blurry. I love that effect, and again, it's very realistic to how actual cameras work. In that whenever there's a character in the foreground being focused on, the background is blurry, and I love how that they did that. How that not everything is in focus, and I know it's a subtle thing, but it really fits. It really makes it feel more alive. It really makes it feel a lot more realistic, and I really love that. And then we also, and again, I love that moment. Like, it was really hard. It was really it was heartbreaking, but it was really well done as well. Whenever Twilight realizes that she scared Flurry Heart with her anger, like she got upset, Flurry Heart got scared, and she tries to make amends, and then Flurry Heart still shies away from her, and then Twilight realizes that Flurry Heart looks at her as the bad guy, and Twilight realized that she realized that she had gotten upset with her, and again that she let her anger take control of her. And although, to be honest, like, it was something that kind of needed to be done, and it goes in the essence of something like that. It goes like whenever you have a child or whenever you have a pet, you have to scold them, even if you don't want to. You have to scold them in order to teach them right from wrong, what is okay, what is not okay, what they can and cannot do, and you have to scold them. And even though you don't want to, it like, I know that with my cat, there's been times you have to scold them. Like with a pet, scolding them because they jump up or hop up onto something that they shouldn't be. You scold them. It doesn't mean you don't love them, but you have to teach them. And what Twilight did, I mean, it was that natural element. It was something that Twilight had to do, and she hated how she felt. She hated that moment because she was in a sense the bad guy, but at the same time she also wasn't at fault for yelling at her. But again, like, Flurry Heart was just trying to find her toy, and Twilight did not even know. Like, she was so involved with reading the book, she wasn't paying any attention to her. Twilight realized that she should have just taken the time to actually try to help her and pay attention to her, and then she would have understood what she was wanting. And so again, it was that moment of realization for her, and I love how that played out. I really love how that was done, and I love that slow walk that Twilight did up to her, and how the camera, I love the animation and that slow walk cycle that Twilight does walking up to her, and how the camera slowly pans in, but Twilight is also walking up to Flurry Heart very slowly, and then she just she just sits down, or she just lays down on the floor in front of her. Well, sorry, behind her. She just lays down, and again, I really love how well that was done, and how the camera continued to pan in throughout the entire time that Twilight was talking to her. The camera just continued to pan in to add to that cinematic effect, and it didn't just, it wouldn't, honestly, it still would have been an impactful scene, but it honestly wouldn't have been as impactful if the camera had stopped. Honestly, the camera pans add to the depth of that scene, and I'm really glad that they did that. Again, it added a lot more realism to it. And it was also interesting whenever Nurse Redheart was tapping her hoof. That was cute. That was cute. Cute. I love that. And then that little smile again that Twilight made after she said cleaning up. I love that little smile that she made. And again, I love how this episode did not portray Twilight to be perfect. How she too was flawed, and there were still things that she had to learn, things that she had to adapt to, and I also love that it showed Shining and Cadence to be loving being parents, and wanting to spend time with their little girl. And also love how that Twilight was also enjoying spending time with her. And that about Twilight's lesson there about spending time with her doesn't mean like just being there all that time. It actually means spending quality time with her. And honestly, that's very much true. That is extremely true. And I know that this is one of those episodes where it definitely feels like the story is more directed at older individuals than younger individuals. Now, of course, younger individuals will understand that, or should understand that concept, but it also works in other areas of life as well. It works for friends, it works for family. That there is a difference between being with someone and actually spending time with them and spending quality time. There is a difference. You can be with someone and spend time with them, but just completely blow them off, completely ignore them, and you're not spending time together. You know, that person could still say, yeah, we're still hanging, we're still together, we're still hanging out. No, you're not. Spending quality time is actually spending quality time is interacting with each other, being together, talking, communicating, and that's what Twilight realized that she was not doing with Flurry Heart. She wasn't doing any communication with her. She was not playing with her. She was not spending any real quality time with her. And she realized that and was able to make amends for that. And she wasn't held at fault because of that. It was a learning process for her. It was a learning process for Flurry Heart 2. It was a learning process for Shining and Cadence. And again, this was a very heartwarming episode. It was very cute. It was a very cute, very understandable, very relatable episode. And it's interesting that this show, I mean, My Little Pony, has come so far with its storytelling that it can actually focus on Twilight being an aunt and her trying to babysit her little niece, and it still have a good, impactful, relatable story. And I love that the show, I mean, it's really admirable that this show has come so far with its storytelling that this episode was able to focus on that, and it still be a really good episode. And then it was also cute. At the end, Nurse Redheart sitting there as well on the bed, listening to Spike tell that story. Really cute about that as well. And that cake, that little brownie face cake, again, that's cute. But again, this was definitely a really good episode. Okay, real quick, who voiced? Wait, go back. Who voiced Nurse Redheart? Did it say? Spearhead. Nurse Redheart. Okay, Ashley Ball. Okay. So she also voiced her. Spearhead. Okay, that was his name. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. But anyway, again, this indeed was a very cute episode. I really did enjoy it, and it was fun. It was sweet. It was heartwarming, and I don't know if so far all 3 episodes so far have been good emotional, have been cute emotional based episodes. I don't know so far if I can honestly say that this, I would be afraid to say right now that this season is going to live up to being what some people refer to as season 5 as being the season of feels. I'm not sure if I can say directly right now that this season is going to shape up to be that. It would be great to be able to say that. And so far, all 3 episodes so far have been really great emotional episodes. And still, episode 2 is still my favorite so far. And I would have to say this episode, episode 1 and 3, are, I would have to say, tied for me. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the reaction as well. Pardon me. Please let me know what you guys think as well in the comments below. Pardon me. Also, again, to everybody at Hasbro DHX, thank you guys again. Thank you to everybody at Hasbro and DHX for all the work that you put into this, show. It's really cool looking back with the oldest episodes, and then looking at the show now, seeing how far the show has actually come. I mean, seeing how far it's come along, and it really does show. And so again, to everybody at Hasbro DHX, thank you to everybody involved for putting so much work and effort and heart and soul into this show. It really does show, and a lot. We are all really grateful, and we really thank you for it. So again, to everybody, thank you, and also to everybody as well, thank you guys again for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, let me know what you guys think, in the comments below, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.